let's have a look at the Visio screen and the sorts of things that we can customize with regards to the screen. Now your screen may look a little bit different from mine, but not a lot. I'm currently in Microsoft Visio Professional 2016, and you might be in Microsoft Visio Professional 2010, but they're very, very similar, and so that's why there may be a subtle difference in the look of things. But what I'm about to show you applies to both versions. The first thing I'd point out with regards to the screen is the title bar at the very, very top of the screen. The title bar tells you that you're in Visio on the right hand side of the dash, and to the left hand side of the dash it tells you the name of the drawing or file you're currently in. This is telling me I'm in a file called Drawing 1, and when I save this file, this will change to whatever I save it as. Now below the title bar you have what's called the ribbon, and the ribbon has tabs like Home, Insert, Design, etc. And the ribbon is the large panel, about an inch deep, that runs across the top of your screen. One of the things that people like to do or accidentally do is they hide the ribbon. If I was to double click Home, for example, I would lose my ribbon. If you lose your ribbon, don't panic, simply double click Home and bring it back. Clicking once is not good enough. Clicking once, let me double click again. If I double click to hide it, clicking once brings it up temporarily, and clicking once hides it temporarily, but clicking twice completely shows it or completely hides it. So that's the ribbon, and you can show or hide the ribbon. The next thing we've got is something called the Quick Access Toolbar, and that's this little toolbar right up here in the top left corner. The Quick Access Toolbar currently has 3 buttons, a button to save, a button to undo, and a third button which will allow you to repeat if you're in the right context. Now the whole idea of the Quick Access Toolbar is it's supposed to host shortcut buttons to make Visio quick and easy to use. And so I will be using the Quick Access Toolbar quite a bit. Now where it's sitting at the moment is not ideal, because we're going to add lots of buttons to this toolbar to make Visio quick to use, and when we start adding buttons along here, it'll start banging heads with the name of the drawing on the title bar pretty quickly. So the first thing I want to do is move this Quick Access Toolbar from being what is now above the ribbon to being below the ribbon. I'll click the Customise button and choose the last option in this menu, Show Below the Ribbon. And now my Quick Access Toolbar is sitting here below the ribbon. I could just as easily click it and show it back above, but I actually want to show it below. Now having moved the Quick Access Toolbar, I now want to customize the Quick Access Toolbar and add more buttons than just these 3. I'm going to click the Customize Quick Access Toolbar button, and I'm going to click New. A button now appears on my toolbar to enable me to quickly create a new document or a new drawing or a new file. So document, file and drawing are the same thing. I'm then going to go back into the Customize button and click Open. Now I have a button to quickly open a diagram I was perhaps working on yesterday. This creates a new diagram, and this one opens an existing diagram. If I then hit the drop down, I can turn on email, and I can quickly now email a diagram to someone. I'm going to go back in and turn on print. If I want to quickly be able to print, I now can just hit this button. If I hit the drop down and choose spelling, I'll be able to click this button to quickly perform a spell check over my drawing. And when I go back in, the last option, this is only in 2016, is touch mouse mode, and I don't want that option, so I'm not going to click it. As far as more commands, we can go into more commands and add some more commands such as save as. Something that we do a lot of in all Microsoft programs is open a file and save it as a different name, so we don't lose the original. So I'm going to go into more commands, and then I'll encounter this screen. On the right hand side are the buttons I currently possess on my toolbar. On the left hand side are what Microsoft deemed as popular commands. I'm going to scroll down this list of popular commands until I can see the Save As command. I'm then going to click the Add button and add the Save As command. And here it is here at the bottom of my list of commands. I'm then going to hit this button out the far right and hit it several times and move this button up and under Save. So now I have the option to save a drawing or save as a different name or a different location. So there are many buttons in here that you can add to your Quick Access Toolbar. Another button that's quite useful is Center the drawing on the page. Now this is not showing in this list of popular commands, which is not unusual. So if what you're looking for is not in this list, popular commands, change popular commands to all commands. Now these are all the commands in Visio, and there's a lot of them, as you can see. Here I'm now going into those commands beginning with C, and there's Center Drawing there. This particular button is most useful when you create a drawing and then you want to make sure that that drawing entirely sits centered on the page vertically and horizontally. So I'm going to add that button, and there it is there. I might move it down and put it at the bottom. Center Drawings at the bottom. You can add commands, you can remove commands using these two buttons. You can move commands up and you can move commands down using these two buttons. So I'm just going to click OK for now. And I can see that I've got an extra button, Save As, and I've got a button here to center the drawing, which we'll look at later. So the Quick Access toolbar is very useful. Now the other thing that you've got is, with regards to your screen, is the status bar. The status bar is this panel running across the bottom of your screen. It contains, for example, a plus to zoom in and make things bigger. I'm now at 143%, and a minus to zoom out. I'm now at 33%, and if I drag the slider halfway, I'm now at 101%. If I want to actually get an exact percentage, I can click this and I can say I want 100%, or I can specify exactly what percentage I'd like, and OK. But if I want to see the whole page, then I've got this button here, which allows me to fit to the current window. And now I'm seeing the whole page. So you've got a variety of zoom options here, zooming out, zooming in, setting the percentage, fitting to the whole page, and you've even got a pan and zoom, which we'll look at later. And we've got a switch windows, which we'll look at later. Now to ensure that you have all these buttons that I've just mentioned, you can right-click the status bar and turn things on and off. And I would highly recommend that you right-click your status bar and literally tick all the options listed there. You'll need all of them. So right-click your status bar and turn on everything, especially the zoom controls, which are very, very useful for zooming in and zooming out. The other way that you can zoom in and zoom out, of course, is to hold the control key. If you have a mouse with a wheel, hold the control key and scroll the wheel forward to zoom in and scroll the wheel backwards to zoom out. So that I find really useful as well. And that control wheel works in all programs, not just Visio. And then I might choose my percentage and set it back to 100% and OK, which is defaulting to 101 for some reason. So that's some of the screen elements.